Hello, friends, and welcome to Talking with Famous People. My name is host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Famous People, the television program that tells everybody the news about the truth all the time, constantly. With all this constant, all the time news about truth telling, I, host Eric, can get a little tired sometimes. That's okay, because I don't know. Who knows why I begin that way? I don't know why. It's the first things that came out of my mouth. So the topic today is dating rules of the 21st century. And, obviously dating is very different now than it used to be. When I was young, there was no internet, and so there was a very limited amount of, everybody was sort of playing it by ear, word of mouth as to how shit went down. Um, it's like I remember having a discussion when I was a teenager about whether a good way to pick up a chick was to see somebody like waiting for a bus or something and offer to give them a ride. um, Obviously, the world changed dramatically, and for the better, for sure. You don't want to be in a world where you have this very small pool of local people to choose from, because you're almost certain to not get somebody you want to be with ultimately. Um, But even with the internet, people make wrong choices all the time as far as relationships. We've got this phenomenon of incels. We've got, you know, this weird mating dynamic that results in MGTOW and other sort of resentment based, bitterness based kind of things. It's like, why is this the case? Well, it's because there's not a clear, there's not adequate means for individuals to find the right kind of person. It's like talking with famous people has proved to me that there is a desperate need for people to be able to engage socially before they engage sexually. That you're probably best served to find somebody who's not local, to develop a relationship first remotely, and then meet up. The nice thing about meeting people via video conference is you you have no choice but to get to know them, because that's what you're doing. You're chatting with them, you're talking to them, and whatever ultimate goals the parties have, such as having a girlfriend to have sex with, or having a boyfriend to be with, or anything else like that. Hi, Jonathan. Sun morning. Um, how come I look like I've aged 20 years? Well, I'm using the shittiest camera I have and the shittiest mic I have right now, because I just had a laptop inside the house and I don't have my mics and other stuff like that. That's one thing. The other thing is I've not been getting enough sleep lately. My dad's coming back from vacation today, and he'll provide more caregiving for my mom, and I'll be able to sort of disappear for hours at a time. And I need to go on a little miniature sleepy week here after today, because I mean it's been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind romance, and part of the reality of that is not getting a lot of sleep. Like before Rachel came here, and I was not on any Adderall at all. I was on a sleepy week, or sort of post sleepy week. There were a few days where I just couldn't sleep at all. I just couldn't sleep because I was thinking about Rachel Lapalesa all the time. I was obsessed with her. I was in a state of limerence. That's what it's called. So right now, basically, I look so tired. I look old because I'm tired. I'm not getting enough sleep. It was interesting not sleeping because of love or whatever you want to call it, infatuation, obsession. That's not something I'm familiar with. I'm never that into anything, I'm never so into anything that I can't sleep at night because I'm so excited about it. So, the thing is, you can only get to know somebody so much before you need to meet them and have sex with them. Because at that point, you run the risk of something devolving into a friendship if you don't push the matter enough. Are you sexual instincts in the first enneagram? I believe I am. I believe both Rachel and I are SX, um, which is good because I mean that both Rachel and I are most comfortable in a two-person relationship. But here's where you get to the issue of show me your boobs, right? So I will answer that question in a second. Blue nowhere. With video conference, there's a need to set the frame. Um, in other words, you've got to make it clear that you're interested in that person as a relationship partner or as a sexual partner, and you've got to make sure that she's on the same page. And the thing is, what men sometimes don't understand is that women do not set the frame; men set the frame. And when somebody talks about getting friend zoned, they did that to themselves. There's no other explanation for it if they did it to themselves. There's a need to ensure that you're on the same page, right? You don't want to be, and it's you determine which page you're on. She has then a choice to agree to be on that page or not. And if not, that's fine. And you just move on to somebody else. But you got to establish that you have expectations and needs that need to be met here in terms of what you're going after. And if she's not if she's not running the same race as you, then you're not interested. If you're cool and you time it right and you allow things to sort of naturally evolve in that fashion, chicks will show you their boobs for sure. So there you go. That's my advice to all the young males out there who, like me, when I was younger, don't consider themselves very reproductively viable. It's um well, yeah, I'm talking about for relationships or casual sex. Where it's like whether you want to get into a relationship or whether you want to get into casual sex with somebody, either way, if you're meeting them on video conference, you have to move to show me your boobs at the right time. Hi, Megan Lamoda. I'm talking about show me your boobs as a key rule of 21st century dating. That when you're video conferencing with somebody, and that's the best way really to start dating somebody because then you're forced to engage with them for a while before you have sex with them. But the risk of that is you need to make sure and remind the person, establish with the person that you're on the same page. That's where show me your boobs comes in. Okay. And it should be within about 3 conversations. Okay. But in about the third conversation, maybe you get there. But it sort of depends. But you might, maybe the second conversation, if you have a long conversation, first one or something. but you don't want to rush it. You don't want to push it. You want to make sure that you're interested in the person first, right? That's the whole idea of the video conference being a preferable modality to than over meeting somebody in person, like in the old days. It's crazy to think about that. Like when I was a teenager and in my early 20s and stuff, dating required you meet some actual person who was single and some actual location without any explicit frame of dating. And how, like, it must have, it's just like, what is the likelihood that people are going to get with somebody they want to be with ultimately in that kind of environment? It's so low because everybody's got all these examples of relationships that are fucked up anyway around them because nobody knows what they're doing and all that kind of shit. But I've seen multiple relationships, powerful relationships, good relationships begin on talking with famous people in the raw rooms. People find each other, you know, and people travel. You think, well, I don't want to be in a long distance relationship. I don't either, but I'm not in one. I have my Rachel Lapalosa here in Los Angeles, and that's where she's staying. She was supposed to go back to New York, but she just didn't make that flight. And PFP for the airplane. I called them and told them, you know, we called them and told them that she wasn't going to be on it, so they didn't have to like hold the plane for her or anything. Fitness and bodybuilding. I'm an INFP. Each week, something new piques my interest. Could it be that I lose interest and interest from one to another because my FI in any interaction? Um, the answer to that is you haven't lost those interests. You just backburned them. You will come back around to them again. And you should never begin. If you begin something, keep the beginning part of it. Don't throw it away when you decide, like, oh, I'm not working on it anymore. Well, the key thing is you'll return to it later. It may be years even, but you might return to it. And you got to remember that those interests you've left behind, they're not gone. They're just backburned. I don't understand why people don't attest their attraction to a person at the onset. I don't understand what that is exactly, Megan, like testing your attraction to somebody. For example, I dated this woman from OkCupid named Jen, took her out on a few dates, spent some money on her. And into the third date, I planned to go inside and get my Mac on, but it didn't happen. You know, she didn't have those feelings or attraction or something like that. To me, it was like, well, there's no problems here, so I guess I just proceed forward. I don't see any. She's not doing anything awful. Um, it wasn't until I started talking to Rachel and I realized, oh, this is way different than any of these other people I've been talking to. I'm like infatuated with her. I like her a lot, and that matters, you know. That bipolar is fucking handicap beyond belief. It's impossible for me to remember. That matters more than anything else. Like you have to actually really like the person, and really want to be with them, and stuff like that. It doesn't hurt that she's sexy as fuck. I mean, and that's the other thing. It's like I have a long history of deprioritizing appearance because I think, well, that doesn't seem like that should be important. Um, it's important. It's important, let me tell you. I mean, damn. It's like, oh my God. You know, all three lady part sections, the butt, the vag, the boobs, are just like epic. Just it's like my own little porno movie. It's amazing. Um, because the more you grow feelings, the harder it is to tell someone how you feel. And then it gets awkward. If you tell someone you like them early, then rejection doesn't hurt that bad, and you can move on if it doesn't work. Right. You got to start with the right frame. I am talking to you because I want to get on you, possibly, probably, but you know, let's talk for a while. I'm not talking to you because I need another friend. Yeah, test your mutual attraction is show me your boobs because the girl then is going to be like, okay, this guy knows what he wants, and I have now to decide if I wanted to. I can't dither any further. It's either boobs or no boobs, you know. So I want to answer the question: which types have the lowest sex drive? The blue nowhere asked, and then I forgot about. Thank you for re-asking it. I appreciate that. Um, I would suspect probably. I don't know. She wasn't using me. Blue nowhere. Jen was not using me. She was trying me out to see if I was going to be a good partner for her. She, unlike me, was smart. She recognized that her feelings weren't there, and so you shouldn't get with somebody. Absolutely. And Megan, yeah, totally. Everybody deserves to feel this way. Everybody deserves to be with somebody that they are just absolutely delighted to be with. Like um, somebody who really likes them. Yeah, I had such I have so little respect for my own interests sometimes. It's ridiculous. It's like in my last relationship, I was with somebody who didn't like what I did, who didn't like my music, who didn't like most of my videos, who just didn't like me. And I thought that wasn't necessary somehow. That it wasn't necessary for the person to like me or to think highly of me or anything. That I would just, you know, fill my role in the relationship, she'd fill hers, and that would be fine. Everything, it's freaking insane. But we all are insane in our polars. And when the Slavs deliver, as I told Rachel, I got her on a layaway plan. I paid in karma for 2.5 years, month by month, to the Rachel Lapalosa layaway fund. And when I had finally paid in enough suffering, the Slavs delivered Rachel Lapalosa to me so that I would no longer have to deal with toxicity and awfulness. But I needed to learn about all that shit. I needed to learn about what it means to be subject to that and how intransigent toxicity can be and how, words can't solve every fucking problem, Eric. No matter how right you are, no matter how well you say it, no matter how convincing you can be, no matter how honest and authentic you are, no matter how vulnerable you are, it doesn't matter. Words can't necessarily fix everything. And you cannot convince somebody who's deeply damaged to be undamaged by words. Regardless of what people have been saying about Eric's behavior, nobody can deny that Rachel absolutely lights up your FI, and everyone deserves to feel that way. What have people been saying about my behavior? Am I subject to a lot of behavioral critiques right now? Even as an EFJ with ignoring FI, I have definitely gone for people who make sense. Well, I think that they're probably it's been interesting hearing from Rachel how the procession of from meeting somebody to breaking up with somebody goes for an ENFJ. Her explanation is basically something happens that's not right, and then something else will happen, or it'll happen again. She'll think it's happening too often, and when 4 or 5 of those, 6, 7, whatever number of those things kind of coalesce reach a certain critical mass, they collapse down to an NI truth. I got to go, and she bolts. So it's like the thing is, there was once a day when I would have said, "Well, that's horrible. You need to know that the person's not going to bolt on you like that." Well, except now I don't think that at all. If an ENFJ bolts, it means the relationship was not the right relationship. It means probably the person didn't treat him right, or took advantage or exploited. ENFJs are very kind and nice and helpful, and they want to see you happy, and so it's a matter of remembering to love them as much as they love you, for sure. It's like I appreciate Rachel Apalosa beyond all measure, having gone through the shittiest relationship imaginable. Um, Being with somebody who affirms me and genuinely seems excited to be with me and happy to be with me and lucky to be with me, and I feel the same about her. It's like I'm one of the things I learned in my last relationship is that if I get into a good relationship, I am not going to take that for granted. I'm not going to take that person for granted. I'm not going to do grass is greener or anything like that. So Megan says, I always keep my mental notes and don't leave until I reach the point of no return. Right. The thing is, I I am aware of the fact, though, now that it is theoretically possible that this relationship won't last, forever. But that's okay because if it doesn't, it's not going to be me leaving it. It'd be her probably. And if she leaves it, then that means it's not meant to be. Like I said, she's um, she's got an eye. She knows a single path. I feel gratified that her single path has brought her to me, and um, you know, her single path was wrong every time prior, as was mine. But we do learn in every failed relationship a lot about what we need to be or have to be, um, or whatever, in order to be happy. So Megan says, not to be too absolute, but an ENFJ will always try their best to make it work. I couldn't live with the regret of thinking it could have worked, but I gave up. I was reached the very end. And the thing is, I don't ever. That's all it requires, really, with me. Is somebody who's trying their best to make it work and trying to be fair, trying to be decent, trying not to be awful. Um, I'm extremely fair. Like I don't mind. Oh, well, we have commitment for sure. You have commitment. There's not. Look, nobody's saying that you don't commit. You just play it out until it ends. Nobody's saying that at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're absolutely committed. We're in a monogamous relationship, and we both believe and talk as though it's going to last forever. And I think we're right, frankly. But um, what I'm saying is, if in fact at some point she wants to leave me, then she should leave me. If I'm not making her happy, she should leave me. What Megan Lavoda says right there, everyone deserves to be happy. You don't have to chain yourself to something that makes you unhappy. It's autonomy. Absolutely right. And it does not help my relationship or really any relationship to go, I need guarantees that, for better or worse, for better or worse, we're stuck together. No, not for better or worse. If in fact we're miserable, we should not be together. And it's true that I'm I'm extrapolating out and thinking, hey, I don't see any vectors of collapse here. I don't see any problems that are going to I can extrapolate out from and see them growing and becoming big problems. Um, yeah, I got you, Megan. That's how I interpreted it. You know, I gotta get my power cable because this is about to run out of batteries. I'll be right back. And may I just say, by the way, there was a notification. That noise. It was a thing that I got. It was like a YouTube notification. Somebody's starting a live stream, or I don't know. I really like that I'm dating an ENFJ because it makes talking to Megan Lavota more interesting. It's like she's an ENFJ. I can get ENFJ kind of advice, or I could get sort of like FE juice by going like, I know you guys are like that. It's fun. Now, I want to also suggest that women can co-opt this strategy of mine, and they can do something that will really throw a wrench into the mix. So let's say you're on a video conference and you're a woman. You've been talking for a couple times. You say to the dude, "Show me your boobs." So, it'll work probably. I suspect it would work. And you don't have to go straight for the cock. You'd be like, "Show me your boobs first. I'll look at your penis later." Um, so I do have a reason to binge watch your channel now. You do look fresh to death. Why do you look fresh to death? Oh, do I look fresh to death? Somebody else told me I looked old and tired. I just have this coat on because it's cold today. I was outside smoking a second ago. So yeah, show me your boobs works both directions. If you're a chick, you can still say show me your boobs. Now, here's the other thing I want to say to dudes that are like doing video conferences. Really, don't show the girl your dick before she shows you her boobs. Okay, you know. Now, that's a tricky one. After she shows you her boobs, do you show her your junk right then or not? Well, if you do, you might push too fast for her. But if you don't, she might be like, "Hey, I want to see too." So, I'm not being inclusive. Um. Anyway, what if I want to see someone's boobs and I don't have junk? You have junk too, Megan. Just because it doesn't protrude as much as my junk doesn't mean it's not junk. Look, everybody has boobs. I've shown you guys my boobs before. I'm a bit of an exhibitionist like that. Um, and But I want to stress something also. Let's say you're like me and you have A cup boobs. That's totally fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with small boobs. Mine are quite small, and yet, well, I know, but look, the thing is, you go boobs, penis, vag, like that order, okay? Because you're Megan Lavota. That's why you're not really a big troller. So yeah, Brian Goss to clarify that. It starts with boobs, then goes dick, then goes vag. There must be. Oh yeah, I know who ISFJ celebrity is. Rise. It's Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil's an ISFJ. You know what I'm saying? He's totally an ISFJ. You're welcome. Mr. Rogers, probably also an ISFJ. I'd agree with that. Dr. Phil is not an ESTJ. He's absolutely not. He's totally an ISFJ. No, he's not an INFP either. My ENTP sister just said she would totally date Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is absolutely not an INTP. No fucking way. There's zero chance he's an INTP. He's an ISFJ. The only other thing he could possibly be would be an INFJ, but he's not. He's an ISFJ. Well, he's not. I won't date him. You won't date Mr. Rogers? I don't blame you. Hmm. C.S. Joseph typed him as ESTJ. Okay, so we can eliminate ESTJ as a possibility. C.S. Joseph. C.S. Joseph couldn't fucking type. C.S. Joseph is just like, Jesus. Are you a professional wronger or something? Like you just professionally wrong constantly? It's your job to be that wrong? Oh, C.S. Joseph typed Obama as ESTJ? He just pulls random letters out of his ass. What did C.S. Joseph type Jesus as? I don't know. Obama's an INTP, obviously. It just doesn't hurt my blood pressure. It just again hurts my soul. Like, how can that fucking moron have everybody's ear? Ridiculous. Jesus is quite possibly an ENTP, but could be an INFJ. I think it's one of those two. I don't think Jesus was an ESTP. Obama's not an ENFJ. Uh-uh. Clinton was an ENFJ. Bill Clinton's an ENFJ. Obama might be an INFJ. That's possible, but he's not. He's an ENP. He's an ENTP for sure. I mean, he's a politician. Hillary's probably ISTJ. Bill Clinton's an ENFJ. You think Hillary's an INTJ? Maybe. She could be INTJ instead of ISTJ. Why do INTJs and INFJs lock themselves in their bedroom and isolate themselves from the outside world? Is it an I focused thing? Um, well, is it lucky? I'm not sure. Is that, yeah, I guess they do that some. INFJs do that less than INTJs. It would probably just be, yeah, I mean, it's an NI thing. It's like, you want to know the universal before taking action. It requires a lot of sort of allowing the intuition to happen without trying to force it. And so it requires a certain ontological patience to be NI that NE doesn't require. Because when focused or stressed, 2 weeks can go by and it seems like a day. I guess that must be an NI thing. Because, NI, its technique is to wait for shit to come together. How does NI arrive at its insights? Does it rely on SE data? Um, it, NI, I would say SE data. Sure, in some contexts. Like, here's the thing. The most basic kind of NI is when to throw the spear. You're a hunter, you're SE, you're waiting for this, you're hiding, you're waiting for this antelope to walk past you so you can throw the spear at it. You're patient, you're waiting, waiting, waiting. Your SE is focused outwardly on data. And your NI suddenly says, now, and you throw it. How does it do that? Well, it's calculating lots of different factors. And um, And then when you have enough factors calculated sort of underneath the surface, it pops out an answer. The thing is, it's like, does it rely on SE data? No. If I'm making an artistic decision about a song, that's using NI. I'm having to wait for enough pieces to come into place so that I can know whether it's what I want it to be or not. Can we talk about how the functions on the axes are connected? I know I don't have NI. It doesn't mean I don't understand it relatively well. Just because I don't have it in my conscious stack doesn't mean I can't talk about it, that I can't conceptually understand it, that I can't conceive of how it works. Sometimes they wait too long, though, and fail to adapt to random shifts in the environment. Any plan you make will be modified naturally by random events in reality, most likely. Well, that's the thing, is an NI user tries to deal with the universe in terms of those systems that you can frame it such that they remain static and only the vectors and the agents within the systems change. So it's like it's like a labyrinth, right? I've had this experience with an NI user before. The NI user says, Eric, you're going down this labyrinth. You're heading down the wrong path here in this labyrinth, and it's going to be a dead end, and you're not going to be able to get out of here. And I say, well, I'm going to do that anyway. And then I get to the end, and it's a dead end, like the NI user said. But then I blow it up, and now it's no longer a dead end. So it's like, this is the thing that NI users get stuck with, the idea that they understand enough that they can know things. They know things like, this isn't going to work, or this is going to work, or whatever. And what they sometimes fail to realize is that any is very powerful too. Expert intuition loves a challenge. Oh, I can't do it that way? Are you sure? We're gonna see if I can figure some way out to do this anyway. It's like, and that's where introverted intuition does a little bit of sitting, right? They're busy knowing about the labyrinth. When I get to the end of the labyrinth and I'm stuck, I'll figure out at that point how to blow it up. If I can't, then sometimes I can't. And that's part of NE too, is you realize you're doing a bunch of brute force work that's probably a waste of effort because you insisted on trying it your way and it didn't work. Like the NI person said, now you got to go all the way back out and go a different way. So there's that too. But, NISE be the axis of known reality. NISE assumes that this dynamic system, that the grammar of it doesn't change. So, like, we're certainly going to win this game because there's no way for them to score that many points in that period of time. Then somebody comes up with something new that they can do that didn't exist before. Well, then the NI person's wrong because they were operating under the assumption that there are no new elements in the system, that the system itself doesn't change as they wait for it to proceed forward. Like, if I talk about bowling, I bowl the bowling ball down to the end of the lane, and then the bowling ball gets brought back to me by this little track that goes underneath the bowling out lane or whatever. And then I get to bowl again. Well, the thing about that is you have to wait until it gets back before you can throw it again. It's a process, right? The NI person assumes that process is as a bowling ball. it has no other means that it can go through this process um, except through this little track underneath this thing. And so, if in fact you demonstrate that I can run down to the end of the lane, get the bowling ball myself before it goes down the hole, and bring it back, then I break the NI person because they're operating under the assumption that that's not possible. You can only get a ball back that way. See what I'm saying? Dr. Phil's a boob lover? I didn't know that. What's the biggest strength of being an ENTP? Always having the answer. It's like, it doesn't matter what anybody asks me. I always have that answer or an answer, or, you know, it makes it easy to go about the world because I know quite well that anybody wants to come up at me, like, roll up on me in some sense, try to make difficulties for me, or otherwise be bad or wrong to me or something, that I'm going to win the argument. That, nope, I'm not intimidated by anybody. That's the advantage of being an ENTP. I'm unintimidatable. Um, because I operate under the assumption that shit's not going to get violent. If my intuition tells me otherwise, maybe I'll bolt out of there, but maybe not even still. It's like, if I'm mad, I want to provoke somebody into hitting me with my cutting words. Um, Probably not a wise approach, but it does mean that I'm not intimidated by anybody. And it also means, though, of course, when you're not intimidated by anybody and you um, express yourself in sort of authoritative ways and such, you do generate a lot of haters. You guys have noticed, somebody mentioned in here that I've been getting a lot of dislikes lately. Well, I've been generating a lot of haters, there's different kinds of good morning, my precious, perfect, beautiful angel. It's so nice to see you this morning.
You too. Live streaming?
Yeah, I am live streaming.
Oh, okay.
Go do your thing, whatever you gotta do. Don't forget to go pee.
Just did, and I'm gonna get my charger. I'll be back.
Word. So right now, like, she and I are having to sleep on separate couches because we both have to be in the house because my mom's here, and there's not a bed for both of us inside the house, so we're sleeping on separate couches. It's kind of it's kind of like this sad moment at night when, good night, I'm going 10 feet away to that couch. Oh, I'll miss you. Exerting control via language. Yeah. It's frustrating to know something, but not know why I need to know it until I do, if that makes sense. I'm sure it is frustrating. I get that NI users have are afforded wisdoms by their function, whereas NE users are not afforded wisdoms, they're afforded potentialities, linguistic realities that can be parsed out this way or that. So according to whom? According to her, McGraw was domineering, would not allow her to participate in the family business. She claimed she was confined to domestic duties, including lifting weights to improve her bust line. Right, yeah, I know McGraw is Dr. Phil. I'm not giving Freddie Chandler special attention as usual. I'm answering her question. Improved bust line. I see. Dr. Phil is a boobs lover, it seems. Yes, for sure. I guess he is. I didn't know that. He is a total boobs lover. Made his wife lift weights to improve bust line. Eric hasn't answered everything, which is why he's the master of the live streams. Biggest strength and weaknesses of ENTP is polar FI. That's true. It's both a strength and a weakness, for sure. Thanks, Jake Forrest, for awarding me the best live stream award. I'd rather a no answer than a wrong answer. At 4, I was like, Santa's dumb. You're a big guy. Eric, does that not make you less likely to be intimidated? I'm 6'4". but I'm skinny. I only weigh 175 pounds, and I'm not. My lack of intimidation does not have anything to do with my physical prowess. I assume I'm going to lose any fight I get into. I'm not tough like that, but I am stubborn as fuck, and so I have no problem provoking you into hitting me if that's what it takes. I like what you said. DJ's video where you described ESFPs as an unstoppable force in need of a path. I wonder if you'd come with a similar caption for all types. That's a good idea. Let's think about that. ENFP is the worst type. That's coming from an ENFP. What makes you the worst type? Um, hey Eric, you tested me a weekish ago. INFP. I recently got an IQ test done. He said INTPs and INFPs score better, and now my personality developed. It is 6 higher than it was when I tested at 6 years old. Cool. Interesting. That is a pretty good lifetime reward. Dr. Phil says, I need to lift weights to improve my bust line? Okay, fine. No, Freddie Chandran is a girl. Thank you, Jake Forrest. I got the tallest ENTP YouTuber award and best live stream. That's fantastic. And 2 pound sterlings. Any tips on how to minimize the amount of conflict between INFJ and ESFP? The INFJ should avoid being near the ESFP as much as possible. Oh, well, dominant NE can't be used for shit because of polar TI. Well, here's the good news, Dolan. You probably won't subject yourself to 2.5 years of toxicity before realizing feeling bad is matters, right? So is there I I'm just lucky. I'm lucky that um that Rachel was interested in me and stuff. It's like I'm lucky that all played out because left to my own devices, I'm gonna make bad choices in relationships. And what's nice about this one is my feelings took over and I was no longer making choices. I have to have her, period. And that's great. How wonderful is that to have, if you read about limerence, it's mostly bad. It's mostly bad stuff about it. Like, because mostly limerence is unrequited. But if you get to consummate it, it's fantastic, right? If you actually get the woman that you're obsessed with and get to have her and have sex with her and be with her and hug her and kiss her and stuff, then 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 something's gone right for sure, right? Something's gone right. That chick that you really, really want, that you're really obsessed with, she wants you just much. Well, that's fucking something's gone right. The slabs are rewarding you. You know, show me your bathroom. That's another video conference thing that should be included. I agree, Elizabeth B. Milburn. To all the women out there who are considering attempting this video conference meet and know somebody and then fly out there thing, ask them, you after they say, show me your boobs, you show them your boobs, then you say, show me your bathroom. Okay? Because you need to know what the bathroom looks like. You want to see my bathroom? Well, this isn't my bathroom, this is my parents' bathroom, but I'll go show you the bathroom. Okay, it's just actually 2.5 baths here. Yes, Rise. I'm going to show you the bathroom. This is the half bath. You can see it. There's a toilet and a sink in here. And this is not an ESFJ house. This is an ESTJ house. This is another back room. And my mom Well, it was an ISFJ, but I don't know. I don't think she won the aesthetics award. This is another bathroom. And there's a master bathroom too, but I don't want to go in there right now because mom's about to get up and I'm going to have to deal with that. And I don't want to wake her up any sooner than I have to. I need some advice for a friend of mine who's going down a dark road. He drinks alcohol and does drugs every single day. Not sure if his type 2 refuses to admit he's depressed, he's sad. I think he's ESTP. Any tips on helping him? He needs to quit alcohol. The drugs, it depends what kind of drugs he's doing, but if he's not doing opiates, it's like if he's just doing like smoking weed or mushrooms or cocaine or something like that, or speed or whatever, the drugs are whatever. But alcohol you can't sustain. If you're a drunk, you got to quit drinking alcohol. It's by far the worst drug. It's like the only drug that can make you have bad judgment. That really makes you have bad judgment. Now, opiates are horrible too. I mean, because people get addicted to those, and yeah, don't touch opiates is right. He's doing drugs, meth. Meth is not necessarily the end of the world. What's causing him to take all these substances with therapy help? People do not take substances for any reason other than, like addicts, because they are into it. It's like, why did I get into drugs and alcohol? Because the world just moves too slowly. Not enough stimulation. I needed something. Like, give me something. I don't know. I just want to get fucked up. It's intolerable. That's why people do drugs. That's why people do alcohol. Because there's something implicit in their being that requires them to have some sort of help. I don't know. 3.5 years clean from alcohol, 3.5 minutes since last bong rip. Yeah, I'm coming up on 6 years without any alcohol, but I still do plenty of drugs. I wouldn't want to give up drugs. Remember, okay, is it lucky? He's not self-medicating because it's something therapy can cure. He's self-medicating because he's an action type and he needs to. He just needs to manage his self-medication better. You can't just go crazy on everything, you know? You know, in the last 6 years of sobriety, I've done some hard drugs, and I'm glad I did. Why wouldn't I? Meth is not good. Well, meth is not good, it's true. It's also true that it's almost exactly the same thing as Adderall. The main thing that makes meth not good is the way that you take it. It's the smoking of it that's the problem. When you smoke meth, um, you end up not getting enough sleep for way too long because you hit that meth pipe. You think, okay, good, I'm set up for the day today, and then I'm sprung enough and start doing your shit, and a few hours later, 5 hours later, whatever, you just sort of end up grabbing that pipe and hitting it again. Then the thing is, when you hit it again, you're like, there's another fucking 10 hours of thwackage ahead of me. It's such a big time investment that it's hard to manage it. Good question, Jake Forrest. Perhaps that friend needs to slay more puss to feel better. The thing is, he's in a street gang. Okay, this person, you need to get away from him. Okay, forget about this person. They're not. They're just gonna bring you down. There's no helping that. He's in a street gang. He only hangs out with people who are fucked up. He used to be sober before he experienced some trauma. Just you gotta let him go. I mean, I agree that psilocybin is a great drug for anybody to do. Mushrooms are, uh, for me, they always make me okay. Like after I'm done with it, like I realize whatever I was worrying about doesn't really matter. These things that I think are important aren't really important. Yada yada yada. You don't need to talk to people in your life is absolutely correct. And I know we feel as though we care about this person. We want to do what we can for them. We don't want to be another person who abandons them or another person who lets them down. We want to be the one who doesn't let them down. Don't take that on. Don't take that on to yourself. It's not worth it. There are lots of good people in the world who want to have good, healthy relationships with you of whatever sort. Yeah, MDMA is a little dangerous. I only did real strong ecstasy MDMA one time, and it made me twitch the next day. So I thought I never did it again. Good people need to be supported too. Good people need to be supported, and more importantly, when you support good people, you achieve meaningful outcomes with that. Whereas when you try to save people who are lost, most likely your efforts are in vain. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing. It's not possible to not respond to meth. Okay, you must not have gotten real meth or something. I don't know. Meth will take over the self more than you know. There's no mistake in it. By just not doing drugs, not doing drugs is fine too. For people who don't do drugs, that's great. You know, that's good for them. They don't need to do drugs. Fine. If you don't feel any need to do drugs, great. Then you shouldn't do drugs. Um, Part of the problem with doing drugs is the shady people you have to deal with. Oh, I don't have that problem. How would you support somebody going through a hard time like that? Okay, so that's a good question. It's like if you do have somebody in your life who's going through a hard time, how can you support them? Well, you just gotta establish boundaries. Probably the most helpful thing you could do. Good morning, Rachel Lapalosa. It's so good to see you here at the live stream. Do you know that Rachel Lapalosa is one of my favorite chat participants? I'm just stricken by the power and wisdom of her words. That's why. Uh, Rachel Papernosa? Eric, did you demote Rachel? She doesn't have the spanner icon anymore. I didn't demote her. That was just sort of a joke. It's like obvious if Rachel wants to be a moderator, of course she's a moderator. Whatever Rachel wants, it's fine. I don't know if she really cares about it or not, but of course she's a moderator. Demote? No, absolutely not. Rachel is my hero. There's no demoting her. Lapalosa is an Italian name. That's why she's got this weird obsession with spaghetti. Every day, every morning, she's like, "Can we have spaghetti for breakfast? Can we have spaghetti for lunch? Can we have spaghetti for dinner?" It's because she's Italian. Get the book Boundaries. It's a good start. Does he have anyone in his family who can support him? Using a different email, Google email. Nice noticing, Jake. Oh, did I? Oh. Will you ever debate people in the future on your channel? You debate coach, you don't do much debating. Nobody wants to debate me. I mean, I've offered to debate people plenty of times. I've asked him multiple times. He doesn't. He's terrified of me, of course. You know, of course he is. I've just fucking. I'd use him to clean the walls. C.S. Joseph has texted me multiple times. You've seen it. That's not true. He's never texted me at all. I did debate ruminations. It wasn't really debate. It was just sort of conversation. But yeah. Sure, I debate space. I debate anybody. Right ruminations is INTJ? ISTJ? I'm not sure. INTJ. Um, Interesting guy. It's like, he's got a lot of good perspectives, a lot of correct positions, and then he's this weird kind of like ardent groupist, like he believes in race realism. Race realism. I have no idea what type George Washington is. Have you ever heard of the YouTuber Amazing Atheist? I have heard of him. I don't think I've ever watched it. Um, like atheists, I'd be happy to debate any atheist. I'd wipe the fucking floor with them in a second, no problem. Race realism exists as a concept. It's just bullshit. Lamau, Eric, you are so cool. This is nut AIE troll. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. Uh, what's my position on God then? Does God exist or not? I don't know. It's like I'll do either. I'll either affirm his existence, I'll affirm his non-existence. I could negate his existence. I could, whatever. Could negate his non-existence. What do you think the most logical position is? Agnostic? Um, most logical position? I mean, what do you mean by the most logical position? It's. Do you mean the most defensible with TI? I guess the most defensible with TI it would be. I mean, you could defend either one. You can't really defend agnosticism because it's not a position. Everybody hit the like bad mon ting bum kalat clot. It's already a lot of rehabs only take people who are willingly go. I'm not sure what the policy is when the person's forced to go. Well, I mean, here's the thing: when you force somebody to go into rehab, you are barking up a bad tree. Can we go back to talking about dating? Yes. we can. I'm going to ask, actually, Rachel to come take over the live stream for a second, maybe, so I can go poop. I've got a big poop on my butt. It's nearing the event horizon. The event horizon is my anus, from whence it will slowly emerge. Which toilet am I going to use? I think I'll use the front toilet. Yeah, I got a little bit of turtle head, right? I got a little turtle head. Nobody wants to fucking know. Hey, listen. I don't want to deny you the knowledge you need to know in order to know what's happening around here. And right now, what's happening around here is I got a poop that's begging to come out of my butt. It is pushing. It is calling out. It is saying, toilet water, come to me. Master toilet. Yeah, I'm giving birth. It's the size of, it's going to be about this big, probably. About as big as this green thing here. We got, is it weird that you pee in your yard frequently since we're on the topic of such? Since you're a lady, yes. That's a little weird, Elizabeth Milburn. That's a little unusual anyway. I like it. I like the fact that you pee in the yard. Do you want me to bring this inside for you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, go.
You don't want to do, is it too cold out here?
Oh, I didn't even know it was
I'll
cold.
get here, put this jacket. Well, I gotta put.
Okay.
You go first.
Oh. Hi,
Hi.
Sit.
There you go. I'll be back. I gotta finish the cigarette and I'm gonna put.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Have I ever seen Eric poop? I don't think I've seen you poop, right?
Well, like yesterday, I said, you might want to hold off coming into the bathroom for a second. I'm about to go poop.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to save you the unnecessary olfactory displeasure.
I haven't seen him poop yet. One who does not want to stop, never stop. How do you know? How do you know actually saved their life, though? So what's the point of sending them to rehab? I think when you send the person to rehab, it's important that that they let go and they kind of accept that that's the next step that they're going to take in order to make changes in their life. A lot of it is letting go and saying okay, I do have a problem, I do want to work on this, but I think it's best when the person does that on their own. They're not being forced to make changes in their lives just because the other people around them are upset about it. It's not going to get someone to rehab. Yes, I am black, exactly. Rehab only works if they want to change and recognize they even have a problem. Totally. Jake, what's this whole 60 minutes tarot typology service? What's going to happen in that 60 minutes and why is it worth $100? Well, with the typology service, not only are you going to be typed by Eric because he's so naturally good at that stuff, but we're going to use my talents in reading tarot cards to actually kind of give you some kind of guidance, not only on a psychology science level, but also kind of a spiritual level too. And of course, any of the advice that's given is always subject to change. Obviously, we have free will, but I use tarot cards as more guidance instead of predictions. What type is Bernie Sanders? Anyone? That's a really good question. I do not know. He had a lot of negative consequences taking away autonomy. Bernie is an INFJ, possibly. Sitting. So, Gyrolam, would you sit and watch your loved one dying of drug use? I can't do that. Yeah, it's really, really tricky because like, where do you draw the line? I mean, if I always find that if you're helping them, the person more than they're helping themselves, you kind of have to like let go of the um that like tie with them. All right, role models. Yeah, in general, I mean, there's some people who just like using drugs, so they're just not going to stop. Like, it doesn't matter what you say. It's really, really interesting. If you're a minor, then you get caught taking drugs. This is crazy. If you're a minor and you get caught taking drugs or for some kind of offense, you can be put into rehab. In some cases, that can actually be a good thing. Yes, that does happen a lot, actually. That's a very effective way of getting people into rehab. They might not want to, but like, say someone gets pulled over for a DWI. At least in New York, when you get pulled over for DWI, you get a ticket, you get jail time. There's usually a drug and alcohol like breathalyzer in your car that you take as you're driving, and you have to go into a program. You have to go into a program where you get clean, at least for like I think it's like 6 months to a year, and yeah, so that's a big way. A lot of people who have um, drug problems get help is through like an accident of some time. They get caught and then they go into a program. And I honestly think that like when you go back into rehab after you come out, there is a chance of going back. So, it's a process. ENFP, Bernie as an ENFP generally, I can see that too. I don't know. He's so eccentric and he smiles a lot, and uh, he 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 does have like this granola kind of like idealism to him. Ugh. How many of you are actually in relationships right now? Yeah, Christina Bowman. Christina Bowman, do you know what type your boyfriend is, or your partner, I should say? Yeah. Zion Black just said, yeah, as Trudy Shannon. Even with risk reward induced rehab, a lot of people still go back. That's true. I forget what the process steps of recovery is, but relapse is a part of recovery. And a lot of people forget that. So they put a lot of, I know for myself, I put a lot of pressure on myself to be like perfect, get like the problem, stop drinking alcohol. And yeah, I went through a program, and yeah.
Hey there.
I was thinking about making coffee. I don't know how you. I don't know. So, if you get your
I'll make it.
Oh,
You keep she's gonna be. I'll make coffee and then I'm starting to get my mom up. So you stay in that chair as long as you're comfortable there. We're good.
okay. Is there any topic you'd like to
The
share?
topic is 21st century dating.
Oh, that's a
That's
good
the actual
one.
title of the book.
That's
If you
great.
want to move over here, you won't get sun in your eyes. Let's improve your SI experience a little bit, shall we?
Who's the best?
You?
Okay. Yeah, and see, it's true with the addicts. They do. There's usually a problem. There's usually like psychological components to addicts that add a layer of difficulty to admitting rehab or getting problems. Thanks for being a good example of an INFJ that doesn't. I'm glad, Jake. I'm glad I don't annoy you. Well, maybe because narrowing down those people, it's easy to reject a lot of people as well. And a lot of young people are not even having like sexual intercourse anymore because there's been such like an emphasis on like porn and getting laid and the trials and errors of dating that a lot of people don't really they have a lot of options, but then it's hard to narrow down what they're looking for. It's really interesting. Okay, so you can see us. I think we moved the laptop over, so there's a good chance that like the internet is not as good. What does anyone in here have like what's some common themes that you find in more modern day romances? Like anyone who is dating now, what is something that you bye Jake? It's so I don't know how we got into the topic of addicts, but it's I think it's interesting that it's complex. I think for addicts, just give them love and hear them out. A lot of times they don't get heard. There's a stigma like people who are addicts because they're labeled as being a certain way, but um, I don't know. Like I think I have addictive tendencies, definitely. I mean, with alcohol, drinking, a lot of it to socialize, and then I would go overboard because a lot of my friends would socialize too. So I did that a lot. But like, it's a tricky thing. I don't think some people want help. Christina Brown, I'm out of the dating pool, but it seems very appearance based. Yeah, it is very appearance based. It's only appearances because not only is there appearances based on your like dating profile, but it's also based on what you write and how aesthetically pleasing it is the thing that you were writing. Hey.
I would also share with anybody who's doing local dating, like OkCupid, my trick that always works. When you find the chick you're going after or whatever, your first message, you say, "Hey, I'm getting off work pretty soon. Um, I want to take you to dinner." You find out like what city she's in, like Burbank or whatever. You go, "Why don't I meet you at blah place at blah o'clock in like 2 hours from now, right? And I'm buying. Now the chick never says, okay, I'll meet you there. But she always says, oh, I can't do tonight, but can we do Wednesday? Because then you see you totally put the ball in her court. She's gotta be like, yes, I'm gonna go out with you on a date, or it prevents it from going into like endless texting back and forth. That's a good tip.
Yeah, it is. Very good tip. I think putting in the ball in the girl's court is really good. And it's really good to do it in a subtle way, because I know for me, I've gotten better. Like, hey, what day do you want to hang out? And I'm like, that is such a broad question. Like, yeah, I have this, that, and this to do, but what you got? I don't know. It's good. It's really good. It does get the female thinking and kind of be like, okay, so I have dinner with so and so on this night. I have to get my nails done on that night. Like,
But
play it
I think the key
easier.
point is when you start with that, like, hey, meet me here at this time, mama, I'm
Mhm.
buying. Then what happens is she goes, all right, well, I'm forced to act here. I don't want to
Mm.
necessarily. I don't know this person at all. I don't want to go out with him right now. But if I don't offer some sort of counter offer, then he's not gonna. He's gonna just move on to the next person.
Yeah.
So she's forced to choose then at that point. Okay, yes, I will go out with you. I'll meet you on Wednesday or something. Or, well, I would like to go out with you, but I need to talk to you a little bit more. It's fine too. But she's gonna have to basically understand that this is going to end us with us two meeting in person.
Yeah. So are you saying like it'll get you talking more and talking like off of the website more quickly?
Well, see, I don't even want to talk not in person usually in that context. It's like I'll talk to you at the dinner. Now, chicks sometimes want to talk to you before you go out on a date with them, and so I'll talk on the phone if they want to do that.
Yeah.
But after they've agreed to go on the date,
Yeah.
then we can talk. Between now and then, it's fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it gets framed. Otherwise, you don't have it framed right. It's like I am here to meet you in person, not to dither back and forth forever.
That's a great topic, actually, because the dither back and forth is actually extremely popular now in modern dating. I know girls who I know people who they'll be in a dance with another person who they're talking to online who there's some sort of interest there, but it never goes into the physical world. They're just talking through text or talking through messenger. Shoot stuff. It's all like he, like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I miss you. Oh, I'm here, and or this is where I'm with, or this is where I am, and it's cute because like you get the emotional like fulfillment from talking to through text, but a lot of times it will never actually happen in the physical plane. Um, and I'm not judging anyone when that happens because it's really really fun to have someone to talk to who you're flirting with who makes you feel good, but I I don't think that constitutes a relationship.
No, it definitely doesn't.
No. Not that vague. Katerina says, not that I know, but it seems like people who are supposed to constantly text each other. I don't think they're supposed to. I know I like to text a fair amount. Um
I like a lot of communication.
I do too. Yeah, communication is important. I like to talk over the phone. I'll text someone if it's short information or like I'm at work or something, just keeping in touch. Uh, but it does seem like people who are in relationships, texting is a huge part of the relationship to keep in touch. And I don't know if overboard
Well,
or
look, you're in a partnership. It's you and one other person as a two-person team
mm,
against the world or with the world or whatever. So, of course, if you're a serious teammate, you check in with your teammate a lot.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you understand that So, what happens to me happens to you. What happens to you happens to me, and we're a team. And so it's like I want my relationship partner to, if she's not able to respond to, not able to answer the phone right now, I want to get like a quick text saying I'll call you back in 15 minutes. So I don't want to just be ignored. And the thing is, it's not going to piss me off or anything if it happens a couple of times. But if on a regular basis she's not prioritizing my communicative outreach, then it's like she's not thinking of me as much of a teammate as I'm thinking of her.
Yeah, I definitely, and I think it's respectful, to say I'm out and I'm running late, or that I miss Eric's call. Like, I'll just give him a heads up, like, hey, like, this is what I was doing. Sorry I missed your call. And it's easy. You don't need to, you just let the person know. But it does happen a lot where, I think also, like, generationally, like, I think younger kids definitely text a lot more than, some of the generations above them. And
Like the other day, Rachel, when you text me, you're like, "Hey, I'll call you right back. I'm blowing some guy in an alley right now."
yeah, it's the respect thing.
That's respect.
I just gotta let him know.
Heads up.
He became ashes. Okay, Zion. Yeah, writing brings it too much. So Jean Grey says writing brings too much ground for misunderstanding. I agree. I think if you're writing a paragraph through text message, you should probably call the person. That's my own generalization, when it comes to communication through technology. So that if your paragraph is like this long, call the person. There's going to be a lot of miscommunication.
But generally, all it takes is a little FB to stop a miscommunication.
Why is that?
Well, because if there's miscommunication, like, well, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? There's already some sort of distrust there, or at least a lack of, not necessarily distrust, but a lack of trust yet, maybe.
I mean, that could be. I mean, sometimes, when people are trying to express something through text, it doesn't come across because there's some element of like humanness that's missing. So sometimes it could be misinterpreted what you're saying. Like, I could be apologizing to you, or it could just be like,
I didn't hear you with the camera.
I think that if it's a long paragraph with a lot of words in it.
Right. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to them.
Yeah, right,
Sure,
right.
why not?
Yeah, and call.
Or I like sending voice messages on your, how you can record your voice?
Yes.
But if you have a different kind of phone, sometimes it won't work.
Yeah, I know. We got to work on that. Because we'll have a lot of fun with that. Yeah. Okay. Threw your game up there. Jeremiah Fix. How much likely are women to copy behaviors of others? Wow. That's a good question.
I'd say it's an FE thing more than a gender thing.
Do you?
Don't you think so?
I mean,
I think tool function FE is most likely to copy.
tool function FE. Okay, so why is that? Because I can't see why.
Okay, well, if you put an INFJ or an ISFJ in a context where a lot of people are smoking cigarettes, they'll start smoking cigarettes.
Yes, you're right. They would.
But an ENFJ or an ESFJ won't.
No.
Because FE Dom is more nuanced.
Yeah, I definitely. That's definitely more nuanced. Because, like, I think there are certain female personality types who will go more towards trends. So they'll read magazines and stuff, and then they'll be influenced by that. And also, like, I think girls who have a big group of girlfriends, a lot of times they go shopping together. So they might not wear the exact same thing, but they might wear similar stuff because they're going shopping together. It just happens like that.
You go in the dressing room. Now you feel my boobs.
Yes.
That's how
exactly. We're not buying clothes. We're just feeling boobs.
Yeah.
Zion Black says, and please, people, if you use text, use punctuation and paragraphs. Yeah, paragraphs actually are very helpful. Big Katarina, and that's why I hate it. One sentence can have 3 meanings. It's so true. That's what I mean. It could be, I could be saying like, um, I'm not really feeling having dinner today. I went out doing this and that. It could be a sentence could be without tone, can be taken completely differently. Shruti Chandran, am I the only one who thinks that there's nothing wrong with liking popular trends or going along with them? No, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, I tend to like go along with certain trends, and it's actually really easy to go along with trends too, because if you like them, a lot of times the things that are popular for a while will be copied frequently. So, like, say for instance, clothes. Clothes is very trendy, and there's a lot of different like ebbs and flows. Even with seasons, you could change what fabric pattern and colors you're going to be using. And if you're someone who follows the trends, you're going to find those things very easily because that's in style. So when something is mass produced based on trends, you're probably going to get a good deal on the stuff. You're going to have trouble finding what it is that you're looking for because it's going to be mass produced if it's popular. So I am Black. Big five correlation as well. I'm a social chameleon in a lot of ways, but I think it's likely because my agreeableness are so high. So interesting, Zion. I remember taking the Big Five, and basically, like it said that I am a slacker, that I'm extremely open, extroverted, and not really that or neurotic, but that I can't get anything started, and because I have low conscientiousness, and I'm like 60% agreeable. And see, I'm too lazy for trends. I hear you. Sometimes if you're lazy for trends, it's good too because there's a lot of basics out there. So like H&M has basics, Gap has basics, even like Old Navy. So you can like mix and match things and get t-shirts and jeans. You don't really have to worry about the trends because those things will always be in style. Jean Grey. Trends are always about money, so no chance with me. Yeah, they are about money. I mean, look, I'll buy like a necklace, a trendy necklace or jewelry, accessories, I'll go full fledged with trends. But when it comes to like actual clothing, I prefer to browse a lot. I like to see what fits well on me mostly and looks well. Chris Chapin. Guys, fashion probably follows trends because it all looks more the same. Yeah, I think guys stuff varies very slowly and not as much for sure. Like right now, there are these cropped pants that go above men's ankles that have been trending for maybe like 2, 3 years, and now it's really picking up, and it's just a slight variation on pants, just shorter length pants. So that's following a trend, but it's such a small one that you know, uh it's just it's following the basic things that guys buy, just adding a little bit of a difference in length of the jeans. But, does Eric know of ISVIA? I don't think so. I'll have to ask him. Shruti. If I recall, I was high on openness, agreeableness, neuroticism, and low on conscientiousness. Interesting. That's fascinating. I would love to hear what, putting those things together, what that would actually mean in a personality type. Big Katerina, trends don't gain me anything. Yeah, I think it's mostly for like younger people. Like I remember like loving trends and fashion when I was in high school. Maybe it was a fitting in sort of thing. I don't know. Big. And yes, they do change before you know that they exist. So that's why people who do follow trends actually have an advantage because they know what's coming up, but they also know that it's going to be popular. So when something's popular, is mass made, it's going to go down in price. You could get the trendier stuff for cheap, and you could buy things that aren't that high in quality and you know, wear them 2, 3 years, get a lot of use out of them, but then not have to wear them when next time the trends change. Shruti as an INFJ, maybe. Shruti, do you like anything creative? Do you like music or painting or dance or well mostly indoor activities or reading? Big Henry. I didn't care about it in high school. I wore poncho and sandals with sock. Actually, that sounds very comfortable. You were ahead of the game on that, that's for sure. I'm an I'm FI over FE. I suck at managing perceptions. I can use an I, but difficult to an E more. My polar SE and not to TE. Ah. Hey, Youngui. If we're talking about the big five, mine went in the order of agreeableness, openness, extroversion, neuroticism, consciousness. With the extroversion wasn't that high though. Huh. I wonder what the big five means for dating. So like I said, I'm very low on conscientiousness. I've read this article that was saying how conscientiousness, being low on conscientiousness, is actually a benefit in some ways because you I can travel in a minute, pack my stuff, and not really um, be too focused on it. Like I can jump right in. Yeah, I lose stuff often, but I am not it doesn't affect me that much. I'm able to get over it a lot easier. And I really do wonder what the big five means for dating. Jean Grey, is big five not nurture? I don't know what you mean by that. Low consciousness, high agreeableness, high openness, high-ish neuroticism, low extroversion, introvert. Okay, so you're an introvert. Low conscientiousness. So if you're writing a letter to someone using a pen, you're writing fast, like you usually normally do. You're not like focused on the way the letters are coming out. High agreeableness, and you're easy going with the flow. High openness, you are open to other people and experiences. Highish neuroticism, there are worries before you make decisions. Get some coffee. Yeah, Zion like yes, you could be late for dates and stuff. Sure, absolutely. I think personal space sometimes too. I'm not aware of what I'm saying and what I'm doing and how it affects the other people. I'm not thinking about it at all. Bye, Shruti. Shruti. Big five is boring. I don't like the way that's described. So I don't mind taking the. I like taking those tests. I don't mind taking the big five test, and I thought it was very interesting and pretty accurate. But there's no middle ground. It's just either if you do if you're high in one area, that's good. But if you're low in another area, that's really bad. So like if you're high in conscientiousness, that's really good because you get your work done on time, you care about others, um, and you care about like what people think. But if you're low on conscientiousness, then you're the way that they describe you is that you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to be able to motivate yourself, and that your life is going to be a mess. And I'm like, well, can't there just be somewhere in the middle where you're both those things? I just, yes, I am. Zaylin, say sorry. Zalin Black. Yeah, 3% of conscientiousness. I had that about that too. 3% of conscientiousness. I, but yeah, I reckon nurture would definitely have a big part. Young. Yeah, I think so. Now, I don't know whether nurturing like affects the way that you take the test, or if it affects the way that you function in the world using those big five. The people that think about big five are wrong. Hmm. Which you could question many diagnoses and when considering MBTI. That's weird. Yes, Christina Bauman, they just want carbon copy people and don't understand that we need different types in society. I definitely agree with that. Definitely do. Um, I think a lot of society wants us to be more homogenized, and I mean it's happening already. If you look about it, like the Kardashians, like they've been popular since like around like 2005, 2006, and look at how much they've molded like the way that women perceive themselves and relationships and the lifestyles that they should live. And Ryan Seacrest is the one who is producing this show. And look at Ryan Seacrest. I mean, he's so molded and perfectionist. He always has a smile on his face, and everything's very construction, which is not a bad thing. He knows the business, so he's going to do it that way. But yeah, 2005. Yeah, they've been popular for over 10 years. And so like if you look at it now that the Kardashians have been around for so long with their TV show, you take the trends that they have for females, you're going to see, I mean, not only are females copying them, but they're buying their products. So there's like no escaping them. So society, since they have this family of people who know the entertainment business really well and how to exploit it and themselves, because they don't give crap about exploiting themselves, they do it all the time. um it's going to show that. So now it's becoming more normalized to have injections to, you know, to for women to, or for people to take ethnic parts of other countries and claiming that they're as their own when they don't really know what they're talking about. So, yeah, so I think you could see the trends in beauty and fashion and call it like, I don't know, like it comes out, the way society says because Kim Kardashian is popular that you should follow her beauty line and look like her. That's just an example. Christina Bowman. Yeah, I said probably kill myself if I realized I had their characteristics. People still really like them. Wow, you're only 4? Yeah. Yeah, they've been around. Yep. That's incredible. That really puts things in perspective, Young. Like being 4 when they just started. Yeah. Appropriation. Yeah, I would say it's called appropriation, Zalin. It is stupid. Alexandra Cruz. Most of the makeup I get is from beauty gurus on YouTube. 100%. I mean, I won't buy a product if a YouTuber even says it, because they try it on and they find that it doesn't stick or whatever. But yeah, the media and the trends also happen in couples too when you're dating. Because there's a lot of couples who are out there who also put on a face and they try to dictate how couples should act and look, like, hey, here I am, how here we are as an example, and yet behind the screens, like, things are different. So I think following trends is not a bad thing. It keeps you on top of the exciting new changes, but you can't believe everything that you see in the media. And I think that you take the trends that you like and don't do you with everything else. Yeah. I'm talking about how couples and the media
Mhm.
um
I love you, Rachel.
I love you too, Eric. So couples in the media, how they can no
I
son,
want
come,
to.
come
No,
with
listen, because I want you to look at the camera, not at me. You can't
Mhm.
help but look at me
I
because
can't.
you're FE doll.
Yeah. Clinique for me. Jeremiah Fix. If you had their traits, you could just obstruct their influence. Young says, dude, I wish I could do makeup. Alexander Cruz. I like the James Charles shit and the Rihanna Fenty line. I like those too, actually. I really like Rihanna's. She's so smart. Like, she knows like fashion and trends. So to make her own makeup line, especially with the fact that she likes to play with colors and stuff, it's not going to be just a beige line. Aw. Oh, Jeremiah, we love you more and more and more. Here, take over.
Okay. See that?
Yes. Thank you.
I will take over. I'm really inspired now to think maybe I need to invent a new line of makeup that's nothing but beige. All beige. All the time. Non-stop beige.
What who do you think out of all the types would buy beige makeup the most?
Um, ISTJ? I think ISTJ would buy a lot of beige makeup. So I'm looking forward to Shane Dawson video coming up. I think it's about exposing the beauty community on YouTube.
Yeah.
Exposing the beauty community? What's there to expose specifically?
Well, there's a lot of people who are like they get they get products from different lines and then they'll say it's good or bad just because they're like sponsoring it. So they'll like people buy products that are actually not that great. And I don't know, there's other stuff. Oh, your mom's up.
Yeah, I got her up. I changed her already, and I I got her in a walker trying to get her into the kitchen. I'm trying to probably wrap this up relatively soon and go in and make breakfast. And then we got to clean up. My dad's going home. Not that we have that much cleaning to do, but yeah. So mostly about false advertising for monetary gain. Okay. Well, I mean, isn't that the case for like anybody who is a spokesman for something is going to be doing it for monetary gain, presumably? I mean, maybe not me with Florida's Natural.
Yeah, Florida's Natural. Yeah.
Are you going to condemn me for embracing Florida's Natural if they give me some money or something, or they give me free juice? I mean, I got to tell you though, it is not a there's no falseness in that, right? That would be 100% true about Florida's natural. It's fucking delicious, you know? I'm not I'm not just saying that because they give me something, because I say it before they give me anything. You forgot to grab it again, Alexander Cruz? Oh my god. Now you have to suffer another day without Florida's natural. Well, I mean, I agree about the makeup thing. Makeup's dumb. There's no doubt about that. Makeup's incredibly dumb. It's like the stupidest thing I can ever conceive of. Like, what in the world? People spend so much money on this makeup, and it doesn't even make them look better. I very rarely. I've seen one chick that I think looks better with makeup. I remember her. She stood out. It was like, it was it was just, there was this one girl. I was a middle school teacher. There was one girl in middle school who one day she came to school and I was like, "What's, like, you okay? Like, you look different. You look like you're not well or something." And she's like, "No, I just don't have any makeup on." She just looked really like pale and whatever. But most women look better without any makeup, for sure. Yeah. What a person really needs to do to make themselves beautiful is drink more Florida's natural grapefruit juice. Bernie Sanders is not an ESTP. I think he's an ESFP or an ENFP, maybe. Um, Probably ENFP. It's about what you're accustomed to seeing. I guess that girl must have worn makeup every day normally. Um, yeah, I think he's an ENFP. That's the sort of crazy nonsense that ENFPs do. I really do like that juice. I mean, I like grapefruit juice in general, but it's hit and miss unless you get Florida's natural. Then it's all hit, no miss. You got just grapefruit fantastico in a glass. Um, Now, I'm not saying it's the best grapefruit juice you can get. The reality is, if I go to Trader Joe's and buy their freshly squeezed ruby red grapefruit juice, it's it's better. It's better. If you squeeze your own grapefruit juice, it's better. I'm not gonna lie. But if you don't want to squeeze your own grapefruit juice, if you don't want to have to go to Trader Joe's and get their super expensive freshly squeezed juice, um, well, then get your Florida's natural, and that's most of the time most people, you know. Well, Katerina, BG Katerina, you've not tried Florida's natural, obviously. What the heck is BIA? I don't know. Oh, this is Jeremiah Fix. He says random shit all the time. Just let it slide. Just don't try to figure it out. I don't know. I gave up trying to figure his shit out a long time ago. Yeah. Um, so I'm going to bring this thing full circle and sort of wrap this up with some comments about 21st century dating, the reality of interpersonal relationships and such. I 100% believe that it's possible to be in a genuinely good relationship. And what it means to be in a genuinely good relationship is both parties are thrilled to be with each other and act like it, you know? I believe it's possible for everybody, and I believe it's more possible for everybody now than it's ever been before.
I agree. It is.
And yet, at the same time, if you don't do it right, if you're not focusing on what matters or something, then you could totally fuck it up over and over again for your entire life. Like I I I feel very fortunate because even with um my information and my knowledge and wisdom and such, I still was very likely to end up with the wrong person this time too, simply because I forget to listen to my feelings. it wasn't. I'm lucky in the sense that my feelings became so overwhelming that they replaced any sort of logical calculus entirely, and that's what you're looking for, you know. Of course, I think chicks have a harder time with that because I think chicks feel a lot all the time. You know, like when they first get with a guy, they always feel a lot, probably. Shit. She's fine. I did. The sound, I panicked. It's fine. She's fine. Um, she was messing with this box of candles in there, and knocked it over. Um, she's never, she never, she's not fallen down yet. Rachel approached me in the sense that she made it very obvious to me that she was interested, and I talked to a couple other people first. I talked to a few other people first, and the reason is because I was a little bit slow to realize I had actually like checked out her channel before, um, and when I was first single, I checked it out a little bit, and I thought, no, she's too young. She's gonna be like 25 or something. And then when at some point, I learned that she was actually 34. She went out of her way to make that clear to me in the typing session, and but it took me a little while to process that. Like it took me a little while to realize, okay, so she's actually back on the table here. I'd already put her off the table because she was too young, you know. Um, I mean, it's just I don't know her name. Maybe I'm not sure. She doesn't really do anything on it, and she probably won't do anything on it now because she's got this channel. So you know, it's probably more fun to do things on this channel than on her own channel. And with my attitude is, I want her I want her to be fully integrated part of the channel and everything. So, and she wants to too, as far as I can tell. She's an extrovert, you know? She's an extroverted, she's an ENFJ, which is a kind of extrovert who likes to socialize a lot. And this channel and being with me affords her increased socialization opportunities, increased ability to be on camera, stuff like that. All the sort of things that I make me really happy. I want to be able to provide her things that she really wants. If she likes this a lot, I want to include her as much as possible. Anyway, so after I had talked to a few other people and shit fell apart, and after Jen fell apart, and like whatever, those things aren't working. That's not a good thing. That's not the person. Um, um, then I said, "Hey, Rachel." I was live streaming one night, and she was in the live stream, and I said, "Rachel, um, will you tarot me?" It was just an excuse to get her to talk alone with me in a video conference, you know. So she did, and we went from there. And like I said, she'd already made it clear to me that she was interested. So I just needed to find out if I liked her, basically, and then make sure that she didn't realize after talking to me a bit that she actually didn't like me at all, which is also possible. But we talked for a bit, and I liked her a lot. And pretty quickly I started being like, okay, I want to talk to you again. I want to talk to you again. I want to talk to you all the time. You know. And after a third conversation, I said, "Show me your boobs," and she did. And then she said, "I want to see too." And so I showed her my junk, and we at that point, I think we already decided that she was going to come visit. And I love the fact that she didn't really have anything going on. So I want somebody to integrate in my life like this, where all of a sudden, one day she's living in New York, the next day she's living with me. Easy squeezy. That's perfect, you know. And also, you know, I like the fact that she was into the channel before anything romantic happened, because it suggests to me that she likes me. You know, if she wants to watch my channel, then she must think that I'm pleasant to listen to. You know, it's pretty straightforward, and she likes my music a lot, and she liked it a lot before anything romantic ever happened. She was always one of the most positive commenters, and consistent commenters. Like, she listened to every song I put up there for sure, and she really seemed to like it a lot. Said nice things and such. I didn't. I guess I didn't know how important that was to me. Right. She was channeling junk what more in the world. Great. That's what I want. I want somebody who wants me. You know, she's been courting me for a while. Great. And she really wants me. Um, if she strategized to get me and successfully maneuvered that, great. I mean, she really wants me. You know. Why is what a dating rule? Showing your boobs. It's critical. Critical dating rule. Otherwise, it's like, man. Question is, what else does she want? As far as I can tell, there's not really anything she could want that I don't want to give her. The rule of 21st century dating should be as follows. Don't date locals. Find somebody you like. The world's a big place. Find somebody you're really obsessed with and make it happen. Don't date locals. You're never going to get it. You're not going to find the right person dating locals. How do you find the right person? You go on Talking with Famous People Raw Room. I'll put the link here. And you try to hang out with various people there and chatting with them. And if you hang out there for a few months, then pretty soon, sooner or later, somebody's going to come along that's going to be the person for you. Right there. No, you shouldn't want long distance relationships. You need to have a situation where you're going to make it close distance relationship. You can't sustain a long distance relationship for sure. I don't think so. You got to get to a place where you're living together and being together. If you're a relationshipy kind of person like me, anyway, you know, sure. When you're single, you can get by on just pounding the Florida's natural. I mean, that's going to make you feel a lot better. There's no disputing that. If you drink enough Florida's natural, you're going to be like, everything's golden in life, of course. But deep down, you're going to know, I wish there was someone to drink this Florida's natural with. Right. Alexander Cruz, go to the supermarket. If you see someone with like 10 or 12 boxes of Florida's natural in their cart and nothing else, that's the slabs talking to you, okay? That is definitely the slabs talking to you. I mean, if Sarah ISFP, if you are in the store and you see a man walking down the aisle with like 10 Florida's Naturals in his cart and nothing else, all right, and it's not me, you just go right up there and just fuck him right there in the store. Right? Just get down on your knees and start blowing that fucker. Be like, oh my God. The amount of Florida's Natural in your cart is making me so horny. He has 5 children to be by his 10. No, they're all for him. Okay? They're all for him. He's a real enthusiast like me. So Sarah, that's the slabs have spoken to you today. You know, if you do happen to see that in the store, you'll know the slabs are really talking to you. Okay. My slab just left for work. I'm slabbed down. I happily point a lady in his direction. Right. First, you fuck him in the store, then you buy the juice to incorporate into your sex play later on to keep things fresh. Nothing's fresher than Florida's Natural. I bet there's a Florida's Natural Facebook group or something. That's where all the singles need to go. If there is a Florida's Natural group, if there's not a Florida's Natural group on Facebook, it's time for me to start one. I think, I think it's pretty clear. All right. That may be my job today. That may be something I undertake as a task. Starting the Florida's Natural Facebook group. And I can link all my Florida's Natural content in there. That's a good idea too, Jake Forrest. You're thinking now. You are thinking. Leave a trail of Florida's Natural cartons, which will eventually lead to your doorstep. And it would attract the right people. Hey, looks like someone's been drinking some Florida's Natural. Let me follow this trail of cartons. Okay, I'm glad you're taking notes, Sarah. That's important, right? Another way you can check a date to see if they're going to be a good fit for you. When you first meet them, hi, nice to meet you, hug them, and then pull out of your jacket pocket a glass of Florida's Natural and say, "Want some Florida's Natural?" If they say, "What? That's weird," or "No," or something, then just dump them right there. If they go, "Florida's Natural," then you know you got the right person. Greta, that 16-year-old is too young for sure for anybody over 20. But that's the magic of Florida's Natural. Any other juice would have spilled, for sure, but not Florida's Natural. A real enthusiast will have developed techniques to avoid spilling even a drop. Even a drop. You're not 21, Jean Grey. Yeah, you wouldn't want to waste any Florida's Natural. Those burly farmers work so hard to squeeze those grapefruits into our wonderful juice that to spill even a drop would be blasphemous. Indeed, Jake Forrest. Shameful. Indeed, Jake Forrest. Okay, so I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate the 9 thumbs ups. That's very nice. I am being subjected now at the moment to like dislike mobs or whatever you want to call them. I don't give a fuck. Like let them thumbs down all they want. Doesn't bother me. I've been doing this for too long to worry about shit like that. You know. So anyway, see you later, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese and rock on. You don't offend me at all, Jean Grey. Not remotely. That's what I think too, Christina Bowman, is that thumbs down actually help.